Hello and welcome to Inspired Personal Health Fitness Podcast. Today we have Jamie Cole and we have Sean Michael Betts from SMB Fitness in Bedfordshire.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing, Jamie?
I'm all good. Raring to go.
Raring to go for today's podcast.
Of course.
Are you all ready? Have you all had a coffee?
Yeah, I had a coffee. Little bit of a mental boost.
Caffeined up
and a little bit of a mental boost for you. Yeah, I've got my little cappuccino from a new coffee machine last year.
Yeah. In moderation, though. Don't go too OTT on the caffeine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Too many people live on caffeine, don't they? Just keep them going.
Yeah, that stuff will definitely affect your sleep.
It will, big time.
Caffeine and alcohol. A golden point from today's podcast. If you're drinking too much caffeine and drinking alcohol before you're going to go to bed, you're not going to have a good night's sleep.
Definitely not. Then it has a knock-on effect. But
you know what? I think that's a whole nother subject for another podcast when we talk about sleep. So
Definitely.
I think we can go into a lot about that. But today, obviously, we've heard there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. We're waiting for Boris Johnson to come back and talk to us about his roadmap on the 22nd of February. So I think what we're going to talk about today, mainly three things really, is looking at the current situation we're in and our clients are in, and kind of Joe blogs, what people are saying, what we think Boris is going to say and how that's going to affect us, and almost planning for that going forward. So what's your experiences so far? How's your clients dealing with the current lockdown, Sean? Or what have you heard from people?
Yeah, there's a big mixture there. I mean, when we went into the pandemic, was it last March? A lot of people I find need that kind of face-to-face interaction. Yeah. They don't necessarily respond too well, via online things. So it has been a big mixture, a bit of a divide. The percentages aren't too bad. I'd probably say maybe 80% of, stuck to their routines, followed me on social media, got involved in all my virtual boot camps, and maybe 15 or 20%, have kind of, fallen off the wagon, if you like. So that's the kind of divide we're at. So, we appreciate the online stuff isn't for everyone. Even though there's so much of it available, I do find that some people just prefer that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, absolutely right. What about you, Jamie? What type of feedback and what's the vibe kind of you're getting from people regarding lockdown free and how they're getting on?
Just the same as Sean, really. So some people need to leave the house to train and to see other people, really. So some people are totally against it. But some people have been more sort of adaptable to it and sort of looked at it like a sort of new challenge and something new, and just done their best, really, so in the best climate. But no, so some people are for, some people are against, but especially from a lockdown 1 to lockdown 3. So lockdown 3 is definitely a lot harder now, sort of due to these sort of weather, these sort of the winter months, etc., and not really knowing sort of when we are going to come out of it.
Yeah.
But so hopefully, sort of Boris next week sort of gives us a bit more guidance on it, so we've got a bit more of a roadmap to sort of get out of it, really.
Yeah, and I think that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this today, because it is, obviously with the vaccination program which we've got in this country, absolutely fantastic. We've hit our kind of 15 million target, and I know going forward we're looking to vaccinate 1 million people a day, which is absolutely amazing. That's the only way we're going to kind of get out of this. But absolutely right, Joe. From lockdown 1, it was the summer. There was a huge amount of online stuff going. It was very new. It was just getting on with stuff. It was doing stuff in the garden. It was going running. It was still doing stuff. Rather than lockdown 3, the online's almost gone a bit. It's the only thing you can do. Not old hat, but it's almost you're forced to take it. You can't really do anything outside. The weather's wet. It's cold. It's horrible. And almost you've got that kind of after Christmas feeling as well, where people just haven't really picked back up after them because there hasn't been the light at the end of the tunnel. You're both absolutely spot on as well. I think there is a place for online fitness, and that's coming from my background with working in the NHS. I know that there's a number of patient types which are now engaging more now during the pandemic because of online fitness than they were beforehand. And I mean, older adults, for example, our older adult population are actually engaging more now with Zoom classes and are fitter now and active now than they ever have been. And that's the kind of data which we've seen. So there's definitely some positives to that. And I think going forward, there's definitely going to be, I think, a blended approach with different parts of the population with your online and face-to-face. But right, if someone likes doing the face-to-face stuff, it's very difficult to move over to online stuff. If you're an extrovert, you kind of get energy from other people. You get that energy by kind of being competitive with someone else, enjoying having a coffee with someone before or after a class, speaking to the trainers, people that you see week in, week out. People kind of get that energy from that kind of session as well.
I think a lot of it is where you're at with your kind of current health and fitness, because you might have someone on the lower end of the spectrum that was maybe just getting into health and fitness before the pandemic hit, and if you're kind of at that stage, you don't really feel and understand all the mental and physical benefits from being well into your health and fitness, because you've not really done a lot of it before or never touched on it. Where if you're at the higher end of the spectrum and your fitness is pretty high, your health is really good, you understand what health and fitness is all about, that's going to give you more more kind of clarity to carry on training and look to train in any kind of means possible. So yeah, going back to the kind of beginner, if you like, not quite understanding how health and fitness can affect them mentally and physically, it's probably going to be tougher for them to really want to kind of push themselves to keep their journey going, because they're at such an early stage.
Yeah, and almost they haven't felt the benefits to they haven't seen those or felt those rewards yet.
Exactly, yeah.
Them through, but it is the hard bits to actually do the workouts.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamie, this is something obviously we've just discussed before. Are you still having your cold showers in the morning?
Yeah, I've been doing them since lockdown 1. Sort of they gradually got sort of less and less cold time, as in sort of these sort of a length of time so that I do them. But no, yeah, I've been doing them since March last year, really, sort of just for sort of well-being, really, and sort of just to wake me up and to sort of get my breathing going sort of in the mornings. Yeah, and just
have you
a habit that I've kept up.
Any type of technique with that, like Wim Hof or anything like that?
I haven't followed like a sort of technique, no, but I've been sort of timing myself and sort of doing it for longer and longer, and getting colder and colder.
If you haven't heard of him, Google Wim Hof, okay? He's probably out there a lot more nowadays, because actually the Body Coach, have you seen the Body Coach doing ice baths?
Yeah.
And that's who he's working. He's working with a guy called Wim Hof. He's from like Finland, Scandinavia, somewhere like that. But he's kind of like this guy who loves kind of heat, but he loves extreme cold as well. So he has extreme ice baths to look after his mental well-being, but his physical well-being as well. He must be around 60, 65 years old now. But he does these boot camps where he lives. So you go for 4 days, and it's very much like getting the breathing technique right, meditation as well, Jamie. So you go for like day 1, and it's a program. So you literally it's freezing cold weather in the snow, and all he wears is shorts. So you go for a run on the first day. You literally jump off into a gorge into freezing cold water. You go back. Day 2, you have to all go into an ice bath for a 10, 20 minutes period as a team. Day 3, you do an intense 90-minute meditation session. And day 4, you run up a mountain where you just see the snow and everything. Like when we didn't run up Snowdon last year, did we, Sean? We walked up it, but
yeah,
we was at the top there with the wind. They said it was below kind of -16 because of how cold it was.
It's very cold, yeah.
And on this course with him, you actually do it with no clothes on, apart from just your shorts. Your shorts, your trainers, your spikes on your trainers, and a bag. And that's kind of coming from that Scandinavian Finland. That's very much what they do, don't they? They kind of go through extreme cold, and then afterwards they go to extreme heat, something like sauna. And it's something which they've done for a number of years. And I think the Body Coach himself, he's put an ice bath in his garden, and he's also built a sauna in his garden as well. So I'm currently looking for something to have in my garden, almost to have that ice bath kind of submersion experience.
Yeah, it's a bit like the ice bucket challenge that we done a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly that. And like Jamie said, it's you have to get your breathing right to be able to do something like that.
Use a dustbin.
Right. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. A big double dustbin. I tried to apply one from the council the other day, but because there's only 4 people living in the house, we can get one. So I'm just going to have to go and buy one. You can buy the big, almost like the big whiskey containers, the huge things, the old things, where actually people do actually use that.
Yeah, the big wooden barrels.
Yeah, that's it. So if you find one, let me know.
Or a water butt.
Yeah, a big water butt.
Big water butt.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They're about 20, 30 pounds.
Anyway, we go off task from our cold water training. But obviously, it's been a difficult time for people, especially with the kids not at school. I mean, me personally, it's half term this week. So I'm working from home, but the kids are at home as well. And it's very, very difficult to keep focused and on task, and it can be stressful. Your kids have still got to keep hydrated. You still need to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner sorted. It's Tuesday today when we're filming this. It's Pancake Day.
Yeah.
So it'll be pancakes for them later. But you can definitely understand how people have kind of slowed right down, or kind of even knocked on the head for the time being with what's going on.
Yeah. Something we covered a couple of weeks ago with the mental health has a knock-on effect to that. As they're slowing down with their levels of physical activity, it's making them feel very sluggish, a bit down in the dumps, and it's affecting their mental health as well. So, what I like to do with my clients is, really try and address, the importance of exercise and the importance of healthy eating. But I think when it's thrown in their face too much, it just becomes too much. Obviously, the internet's very saturated. It's all over Instagram. It's over Facebook as well. The tools are certainly there, but it's just encouraging people to, make use of them and almost find something that they will respond to well and something they like to do.
Yeah, and it has to be small steps as well. I'm not sure Jamie will do this, because he's kind of putting out small challenges himself for our clients. Even if it's just a challenge on a Monday, which you do for the next 7 days. And it could be something as simple as doing 10,000 steps a day. But actually, at the minute, if you're working from home and spending most of your time at the office, something like that could be quite hard. It's almost just forcing yourself to go out for a walk, or walk around the garden a few times during the day. It's small steps, and I've said this to a number of people. It's about just being kind to yourself at the minute. I think anything which you do is better than nothing. Remembering the situation that we're currently in, so anything you do is better than nothing. So don't be too hard on yourself, because it shouldn't be almost another stick for you to beat yourself with. It shouldn't be another reason for you to possibly feel depressed, feel anxious. I haven't got a workout in today. I haven't done anything for weeks. I haven't done this. It's totally acceptable at the minute. It's the whole population that's going through the same type of thing. So definitely just small steps. And I think we're going to touch upon that in a minute, because we are waiting from the roadmap from Boris Johnson on the 22nd of July. And I think that's where the light currently is. We know the vaccinations were over 15 million. Are hoping, if they can, to get 1 million people done per day at some point in the next month, which would be amazing. So it allows them to kind of put a roadmap together. So when we can look at maybe start opening the gyms and hospitality sectors again.
Yeah.
I know they've said so far they're looking to get schools open around the 8th of March. So to get the schools back on some sort of kind of phase return. And they mentioned hospitality around the end of March as well, beginning of April. And normally, in what we've done in previous, is the fitness industry has gone hand in hand with the hospitality industry. So there's a possibility that the fitness industry could be open again by the end of March, beginning of April. What do you think about that? Should the fitness industry be one of the first things which opens after schools?
I think as long as, for example, gyms and leisure centres and all those kind of things, as long as they're following good procedures. I'm a member of a local gym, which I won't mention the name, but that they were open obviously at different times during the pandemic, and they've got all the procedures in place, like the hand sanitizers, socially distanced, cardiovascular machines, staff on hand to make sure they're, regularly cleaning the machines down. But one thing they didn't do was they didn't keep tabs of the amount of members that are in the gym at one point. A lot of gyms, yes, they're suffering. A lot of private gym owners are obviously, being affected by this. And they're saying, gyms are good places. They're healthy places. We need gyms to be open to help people's mental health. Yeah, that is true. But at the end of the day, the virus doesn't know where it is. It doesn't know whether it's outside or it's in a gym. It just emits from person to person. So what this specific gym wasn't doing, it wasn't ensuring that there was enough social distance in between people. Yeah. All it takes is one person to be infected, that they go close to 10 or 20 people, and then you've got 10 or 20 people infected. So I think as long as the gyms or the leisure centres and all the sports facilities can, stick to the guidelines and make sure that they are, really being productive with their procedures, with their safety procedures, then I think they should open pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Jamie?
I think it's got to be fair to everyone, really, because even though that we know that the gyms sort of help us all, a sort of business is still a business, and people can still sort of look after their sort of health and well-being sort of at home, can't they? So I think the whole process needs to be fair to sort of like restaurants and gyms, etc. So it's all around the same sort of time. So just so it's fair, really, to sort of every small and big business.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, as we like to. I'm going to disagree with that. I would say, yes, people could look after their health and well-being at home, but are people currently doing that? And I would say the kind of data which we're looking at, it's kind of suggesting that they're not. So I really think that the health and fitness industry should be one of the first places to open. But like you say, Sean, it's got to be strict guidelines, and there's no point having guidelines unless they're enforced.
Exactly that, yeah.
Again, I mean, Jamie will know this because he was the inspired enforcer. You would literally come to the front door, you'd have your temperature taken, you'd be allowed in one by one. There's your clean cloth, there's your bottle, there's your bit of your equipment. Changing rooms are closed, so do not bring loads of stuff in because we don't want people moving around. The changing rooms are closed. There's one way in and there's one way out. And that's how it has to be managed, rather than if people are just letting people come in and almost do what they want. They've got a lovely poster on the wall saying this is what we're doing, but unless someone's there actually enforcing this, and actually, look, you haven't taken down your machine. And if you have COVID, the next person's going to get that. And the next person, depending on where the R rate's at, that could be 20, 30 people all of a sudden infected.
And this is why Boris is, taking the decision to close all of the leisure facilities and all of the gyms and all the sports facilities, because at the end of the day, it's just that then people being too close to each other.
Yeah. It's that cleanliness. I think it's a good thing, because I think going forward now, especially Inspired, we will carry on with those hygiene methods, because it's just good cleanliness. It's going to stop people getting colds. It's going to stop the spread of flu next winter. Obviously, COVID's going to be around for a little while yet. But just generally, that's going to stop the spread of all types of infections and keep people kind of healthier and fitter for longer as well. Exactly
that, yeah.
So I think that's definitely something we'll continue with, won't we, Jamie?
100%.
100%. Jamie the enforcer. So we do have, I do think now we have a light at the end of the tunnel with when people can almost get back to a percentage of normality. Now, I think we should discuss actually how people plan to get back into their fitness routine. Because we just had, before this, Sean, we had a quick discussion, didn't we? And people will tend to think if they haven't trained for 1 or 2 months, actually, if they can come back to the gym and do the same things they were doing before, or possibly the same thing they were doing a year ago when they were training at this stage. But that isn't the case, is it?
No, definitely not. Like I said to you before we started our chat today, I've got a couple of friends that work over in a gym over in Australia. And when they went through their first lockdown, I think it lasted about 3 or 4 months. So what you'd have members that weren't doing any kind of training or the bare minimum for 3 or 4 months. The gyms are reopened. first day back, that they're thinking that their body is up to speed, it's up to scratch, and they can literally continue from where they left off. And, my friends are saying to me, we have members coming in, the second day of opening, hobbling through the door, almost crawling through the door, severe DOMs in, all of their kind of major muscle groups. So, the fact is, if you are a consistent gym goer, not necessarily gym goer, but if you are, a consistent, individual that takes part in exercise and sports and stuff, and you do have X amount of time off, it's very important not to try and, continue from where you left off, because your body isn't quite up to scratch, up to speed. And you do need to kind of almost do like a kind of 50, maybe 60% week, and then start building yourself up gradually. Otherwise, you are going to be experiencing some serious DOMs.
And possibly injuries as well. It's the same as any sports team, football team, rugby team. They have a pre-season. They don't go from not playing football to straight away playing football games.
No, exactly that.
Because they're going to get injured. 100% they will get injured. So they have 6 to 7 week or possibly 8 week pre-season where they bring everything slowly. They start bringing flexibility, speed, strength, slowly going into games, 20, 30 minutes, gradually increasing it. As we've all played kind of football before, you have a pre-season to get you ready to then play. So I think, and it'd be interesting to hear what you think, Jamie. I think now is our pre-season. I think anyone listening to this think, you know what, I haven't done a great deal, but I can't wait to get back to the gym, hopefully in April. Now is the time to set yourself up in the pre-season. Small goals going forward and gently doing things over the next few weeks until we get to April time. And then you'll be in a position where, again, you can't go 100%, but you'll be able to do a little bit more than if you don't do anything for the next 6 weeks. Would you agree, Jamie Cole?
Yeah, I think as soon as we know at a date where sort of gyms are open, I think then you can sort of make a plan on sort of how to get yourself ready for when gyms open. So obviously sort of go for a walk longer, do more weights, sort of run a little further, and sort of generally get yourself as close as you can for that as opening week, really. But I think it's just as common sense to sort of not go in sort of to maximum and really build it up. Give yourself more rest time. Try and get loads of sleep in, and gradually sort of just give it like a month or two to sort of get yourself up to full speed, really, because it's been a long time, and it's been a bit of a very, very strange year. So it's been a lot of stop-start for like about 12 months now. So I think it's just common sense to build it up and to be sensible, really.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. What about you, Sean? Have you got any advice for people who aren't currently training and are thinking about going back to the gym, hopefully around April time? What would your kind of suggestions be to people listening?
Yeah, I mean, since the first lockdown kicked in, I always try to encourage as many people as possible to do some kind of exercise just to kind of keep moving. But I do use that example that I've just used a few minutes ago about, my two friends that work down in a gym in Australia. If you're going to be, going back to the gym or going back to your sports facility or whatever, and you're going to go full hog, then you are going to be prone to picking up injuries. You're going to be suffering with severe muscle DOMs. So if you are looking forward to get back into the gym and get back into your sports, then you can't go full hog. You've got to break it down. You've got to start slowly. Just start moving a lot more. Get out. Do your walks. Do some basics at home. I think people, when it comes to exercise, that they feel like they have to really push themselves. Pretty hardcore for the whole hour they do. Yeah. It's like with these kind of New Year's resolutions that you see. You probably not exercise much the year before, right? New year, new me, blah blah blah. I'm going to start my first fitness class. We're going to kill it. We're going to sprint on the spot, blah blah blah. We'll do all these exercises, and we're really going to hit it and attack it really intense. But that's not the way that it should be done. You've got to break it down. Go back to the basics. Like Jamie said, focus on your sleep. Obviously, nutrition plays a good part as well. Lots of hydration, and just take those baby steps that you also talking about, Steve. So that is the best way, in my professional opinion, to approach getting back into the gym and getting back into your fitness.
That's it. It's kind of understanding those stages and process. And I think people forget sometimes as well. But our jobs as trainers and coaches isn't there to kind of tell you, come on, do more, do five. Actually, sometimes our job is there to pull you back. Because we know if you're coming in on the first week and you're going hell for leather, our job is to keep you safe. We want to keep you training consistently to reach your goals.
Exactly.
So you're going to come in and go from
people
to a lot.
People will get ill as well. Like their sort of immune system won't cope in that first few weeks, as if they go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, how many times have we all seen that? Someone's come in, without speaking to consultant, a trainer, they've put themselves on a ridiculous calorie deficit diet, worked out stupid amounts, and they've literally, you can just see them depleting with their energy and the overall immune system. And they just, the first month, they just break down. Their body breaks down. They can't take it. And they're just sick. They get the flu and they can't train.
Yeah, perfect example. When I first got into bodybuilding in 2010, I didn't do my first show until 2012, but I joined up at Gold's Gym with one of my old good friends. I've not spoken to him for a couple of years, but a guy called Luke, and he was about 10 years older than me, and he was into his, hardcore bodybuilding / strongman training. And even though he's never competed, he's always followed a good discipline, and his training was always very hardcore. So I joined the gym with him, and I was literally training, not quite to his level, but I was following him, and he was pushing me and putting me through all these workouts. I'd say it was probably a good 3 or 4 months, and then my whole immune system just crashed, and I got very, very poorly for about 2 or 3 weeks. But that's from going to just playing a bit of football, once or twice a week and doing some basic push-ups and bicep curls at home, to going into kind of full bodybuilding training programs and strongman training programs. So yeah, that is a perfect example of why you can't go in, too hard too soon.
It's kind of building yourself up, isn't it? Building everything up in stages and building kind of your resilience up, your cardio up, your strength up. You can't go from 1 to 100 without, like Jamie said, 1, getting sick, or 2, getting injured. So I think definitely that's probably one of the key points from this discussion we've had today, is if people aren't doing a lot and they're looking to get back into the gym, hopefully around April, is just take it slow. Trust the process. Follow your trainer, your coach. Everything's going to be done in stages. You're going to want to get back and get straight back into it as hell for leather, but sometimes the trainer's going to have to pull you back to keep you safe, to keep you fit and well, so you can carry on training consistently. So guys, the light is at the end of the tunnel. So I think hopefully we'll see people back in the gyms in April. Do you have a last bit of advice before we close down today's podcast? Putting you on the spot. Mine would. I'll start, so I'll give you all some time to think. I would say, look, at the minute, guys, be kind to yourself. There's a lot going on. There's homeschooling. People are working from home. Very, very difficult times. But better times are coming. Just slowly, if you can, start increasing your activity. So when we can get started again in April, you'll be at a better baseline than what you will be not doing anything.
Yeah, I also think one good thing, not many good things have come out of this situation, but one good thing that's come out of the situation is there's been now a lot more kind of publicity and emphasis on health and fitness. You see it a lot more now in the media, on the news, on social media. So I think more people now are aware that they need to address their health. They need to address their fitness as well. I mean, I go out PT in the parks most days, and I'm seeing so many more people walking and running around the park than I've ever used to. Even way before COVID, I've never seen so many people actually out and about and around the park. So I think that is probably one of the only good things that has come out of this current situation that we're in, that people, that they're more aware of, they need to be more healthy, they need to be more fit. It's just, educating people in the right kind of way, and just trying to, really try and, build up their character and their mindset to actually want to, get involved and take part. And I think the important thing is look at the bigger picture, where you want to kind of be in 20, 30 years time, because as we're all young, our bodies can handle being somewhat sedentary. But as you do get that little bit older, into your kind of late 40s, 50s and 60s, it is very important that you do start some kind of form of, physical activity for your own kind of, well-being, your health, and obviously your mindset as well. Too many people are sedentary in this day and age, and it will catch up with them later on in life. It will.
Absolutely.
So it's so important to, start taking part in physical activity, and make those baby steps that you were talking about, Steve. You don't have to go full hog, you just got to get moving more. That big word is moving more. And if you are stuck and you don't know what to do, then consult, an expert. There's personal trainers out there, there's fitness instructors, there's nutritionists. Don't be afraid to ask for a bit of help. I know a lot of it that puts a lot of people off is like the financial side of things. But you'll quite easily go and spend, 50, 60 pounds a week, maybe on a takeaway and a few bottles of wine. So why not kind of cut down on that and try and invest in a fitness professional a bit more to put you on the right tracks and to educate you and to guide you.
Invest in yourself. It'll be the best investment you ever make.
Exactly that. Yeah.
And Jamie Cole, what would be your final thoughts?
I think we're coming to the end of it. It's been a hard year for sort of us all, but I think you can start to look forward now, and hopefully from the start of the summer onwards, we'll get life will get sort of better and better. But in terms of sort of goal setting and stuff, I would literally start off really, really small, and sort of your small targets, and make sure you achieve them, and then sort of just build on. But I think we're generally going to come out of this as a pandemic stronger as people, stronger as a nation, stronger as the whole world, really. So I think a lot of people have learned a lot. I think a lot of people have learned that they don't need as much as they think. I think people have learned a lot about themselves as well. So no, I think we're coming to the end of it, and I think it's looking positive. So hopefully we'll find out more next week, and we'll have a start date to getting back to normal.
Better days are coming. # getting involved. Well, thank you very much, you guys. It's always a pleasure to speak to the both of you. I know definitely it's my time of the week, which I look forward to. So both please stay well, stay safe, and I will see you on the next Inspired podcast.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Jamie.